What's good, Liberators? Fingies here, and this is Dx2 Demon Review, and today we are talking about the hippie chick of all our dreams, the spy chief extraordinaire whispering all your dirty little secrets, the wood, Alraune. And buckle up for this description because, oh boy, it's a description. A cursed wood spirit in the form of a beautiful woman that's known to bloom under the gallows when innocents condemned to death shed their last tears, or as the dead ejaculate when their necks snap. What? What? Moving on. Her flowers take the shape of purple bells, which bear an orange fruit, and its roots take on a humanoid appearance. This puts her in the same family as the mandrake, and her fruits are used to produce drugs or hypnotics. Reminds me of a girl I used to date. Kind of looks like her, too. Same body type. Belly dancer. And I know what you're thinking. Why in the holiest of hells would this girl focus on belly dancing, of all things? And you would be surprised how many hot chicks belly dance. It was mind-blowing for me. Back on track. While some even believe them to be a kind of panacea, like the mandrake, she's also known for letting out a blood-curdling scream when pulled from the ground. But humans throughout history have sought after her despite any such dangers. Originally appearing in German legends as an evil female spirit, her name can also be interpreted as the teller of secrets, making her a spy chief, CIA analyst extraordinaire. Let's check out these stats, which are garbage. All of her stats are terrible. Her highest stat, naturally, is a magic of 170. And that's not even a good stat for her. You want vitality, you want luck for this red-haired beauty right here. Luck especially. Vitality because she needs to survive at least long enough for one other demon on your team to die. So I would highly recommend luck and vitality. And since there's no other good ones for her, because you really want her on a slow rolling team, so you don't want to throw anything into that agility and the strength, useless for her. So a little minor in magic, even though it's really useless, but who knows? You can maybe finish off a demon who's got an indoor that just popped on, and you just need to blow him over. The little poke. Let's check out her skills. The transferable death touch, thematically appropriate, inflicts almighty magic damage on a single enemy while healing the caster 40% of damage dealt, power of 140. Okay, not bad. I had enough of these floating around from skill extraction files that I was able to crank this thing up to level 6. She has a 25% chance of 1 MP recovery. Hardly necessary. Don't even worry about this. This is not why we are here in any way, shape, or form. For the first passive skill, Power of Life, which I believe comes with all woodland creatures, minus 30% chance of receiving status ailments. Bueno. Activates Falling Chain effect at the beginning of her first turn. Enters a state of Lydia, which every time her turn rolls around, she will recover a fraction of her HP. What is it? Let's say 10, 15%, something like that. I don't know the exact number for Lydia, but it gives her a regen effect. Very nice, and all the wood demons, I believe, come with this particular skill. And that minus 30% chance of receiving status ailments is helpful because the only thing that can stop this girl, really, is death or bind. Those are the only two you really need to concern yourself with her. And that is because of her unique skill, the Sweet Whisper. Activates the following chain effect when an ally is down. 30% chance to charm all enemies, and it also reduces the defense of all enemies by 20%. A nice little icing on the cake there, but the real reason we're here is for this charm effect. This means that if a horrifically powerful team is bearing down on you, turn 1, beating the absolute hell out of you, and they drop one of your party members, and old girl here is still up, well then she charms the entire team turning that entire offense on its head and firing it right back upon themselves. I believe there's one or two other demons that have a similar effect that can actually interrupt an enemy offense, but such a skill is exceedingly rare for them to be able to break up your enemy's turn. Like, Daisujo has something vaguely similar where if you try to charm Daisujo, he will respond by muting the enemy team during their turn, which is why we're talking about this right now, is because this is such a unique skill for 4-star demon too, which is, with what you can do with this, you can have fun with this in PvP. I will link the video I did of this in PvP down below. It is a lot of fun, and when it works, oh boy, it is satisfying to see it pop off. But the ability to interrupt your enemy's offense in the middle of their offense and completely turn it around on them cannot be understated. And granted, a lot of demons have natural immunity to charm. There's a lot of demons that just completely nullify ailments, and you got to watch out for those. So, like everything, there's a counter to this, but still, it is insanely fun for a revenge team, or if you're picking your targets. And honestly, you could probably get a good win ratio if you were randoming a team with this. For an example of that, again, I will link the PvP video I did down below. And if you level this up, plus 20% to ailment infliction, crucial for her. Go full ailment infliction and life on this girl. It's all she needs. HP to survive, so one of the other demons dies first, and ailment infliction, so her charm pops off. And hopefully someone to barrier break, so any demons with ward brands get screwed over in the process. But for that, you're going to need someone like Mother Harlot, whose panel 1 barrier breaks automatically, and there are other demons who auto barrier break, so you're going to need one of those to pop off with her in order to make this work to its full effect. For her archetype skill, I've got her Psychic for Insanity, plus 20% chance to inflict status ailments, and from what I remember, this is the only archetype you should consider if you are planning on using this girl. You need her ailments to hit. You just need them to lock on, so go absolutely batshit crazy, insane on your ailment infliction rate. Focus on that primarily, her HP secondary, and go full bore on it. And it's a lot of fun to do, just because I love hyper-focusing. If you can find a demon, it's like, you have one job. You have one job! And you just focus solely on that, and they do it well. It's really satisfying to see. As for the transferables, I've got her with Null Bind. As I mentioned before, Bind is the only thing that can stop Sweet Whisper from going off. So even if you've got an Angra on the other team, sticking her with every single other ailment, Sweet Whisper will still pop off unless she is bound. And this goes for all chain effects. Unless the demon's bound, their chain effect will go off no matter what. So always be aware. That's why I think this is probably essential for her. Failing this, Infernal Mask, Hellish Mask, anything to stop that bind from taking hold. But since bind is the only one you really need to worry about, Null Bind is, I think, best in slot for those of you unhip to the lingo. And for the secondary, I got Enduring Soul, keeping her alive if she drops to 0 once. There are a lot of chain effects that can go off if one of your demons is down. And her skill will chain. And once one of your allies goes off, Sweet Whisper will trigger. But your enemy's chain attack will go off first. So if Shrosha bodies one of your team members and then Soul Judgments, which he will do immediately afterwards, Sweet Whisper will not fire off until after Shrosha's done Shroshing and getting 1 Soul Judgment, possibly 2 Soul Judgments off, which is why Enduring Soul needs to be there. She needs to stay alive or the entire offense just falls to pieces. As for brands, Sick Brands. I gave her Sick Brands, probably give her Sick Brands with HP on the legs and the right arm. And I gave her Physical Evasion just because in the team I was running, I was planning on fighting physical teams and I wanted her to live. But I would say focus primarily on HP, and ailment infliction wherever possible. And as you can see here, I got ailment infliction plus 39% on the brands and the tertiaries, plus 20% for the set effects. And we got Insanity there with another 20%. We got Sweet Whisper leveled up with another 20%. You really want to pile it on because If Charm don't stick, you're in a world of hurt. And it's just especially satisfying to see every single enemy get charmed and then just brutalize their friends and family. It is perversely entertaining. As for the panels, panel 1, minus 15% chance of receiving status ailments. As we discussed, bind needs to stay off this girl, so this is useful in the event you don't have a null bind transferable. Panel 2, plus 10% to max HP. Crucial. Old girl needs to stay alive, at least for one of your other demons to die first, which should be pretty easy to do. I mean, you can put some bait out there, like the old school level 1 X-Tab. Oh, it's back, baby. If you got that level 1 Death X-Tab, slap her with a couple like Auto Rakakaja, Auto Sukakajas, just to up your defense a little bit, and then just let her die so old girl here can charm the enemy team and just flip the script on them as soon as humanly possible. And panel 3, another 15% chance to inflict status ailments. And as we discussed, you know why that's so important. And for the sake of posterity, we shall examine her other archetypes, though, if memory serves, you really don't want or need to. The Origami archetype, Megadola, almighty magic damage with the power of 100, fantastic, screw you, useless. The Protector archetype, Samakarm, get the hell, I'm not even gonna bother with that. The Psychic archetype, the big winner and the one I would highly recommend, Insanity, for previously discussed reasons. And the Elementalist archetype, Null, Fire, which I'm not going to dump on. I usually dump on Elementalist archetypes, but this does at least cover up her fire weakness, so it is not the big loser of the bunch. And actually, hey, for survivability's sake, you might even want to consider it if you can pop off her ailment infliction. I mean, you saw how we were able to stack up that ailment infliction pretty good, even without insanity tacked onto it. But me, I go overkill. You got demons out there with infernal masks and natural resistance to ailments, and you gotta break through those to make this work. So, there we have it. This hippie chick that you should never follow a hippie girl to a secondary location. She will lose all her mystique. It's just a giant turnoff. Just don't do it. Engage in the environment that you find her in, then take her back to your place. Always or not at all. Don't get captured.